The very fact that you clicked on this thumbnail means that you're either considering the Rush 12 or the Rush 24, or you're actually considering one or the other and you're trying to decide which one is a more suitable choice for yourself and your lifestyle. And with that assumption, I'm going to answer those questions. And so first up, I'm going to discuss the bag materials, then the bag zips, and then all pockets and compartments. And then I'm going to discuss how this bag has performed for me over the last 5 years and how this bag has performed for me over the last 5 months. And then to end this video, I'll talk about what you can actually put onto these bags, the accessories that you can go with them via the tier system. So first up, why did I get these bags and what do I use them for? Is it because I'm a Delta 6 SAS Space Force Marine who demands military-grade equipment? Well, no, and also no. I'm just a normal guy that needed a bag, and also military-grade is not a real thing. It's just purely a marketing buzzword. And don't worry, 511 have never used that marketing buzzword in any of their promotional materials. And so in regards to how I use these bags, for the Rush 24, I've been using on and off over the last 5 years as my work bag, and this bag has traveled with me to gas wells, power stations, and coal mines. And over the last 5 years, I've really run this bag through the gauntlet. I've been soaked in coal dust for months at a time and not been cleaned. It's been shoved in tiny lockers and it's been kicked and dragged about. And as for my Rush 12, well, about 5 months ago, I became a dad. And so I purchased this bag to be basically my daughter's supply bag for when I'm out and about with her. And so with these bags, you might think that it's a little bit interesting that I chose to purchase these ones, given that they cost about 3 times more than their competitors. But there is a legitimate reason for why I did this. Now the bags are made out of this material called 1050D nylon. And so what does the 1050D mean? Well, just like many bags, it is made out of nylon and that is for its both water resistance and strong properties for its relative light weight. And the number with the D in front of it basically refers to how densely all the nylon fibers are packed in together. And so the higher the density, the stronger the bag or the material will be. And so for a normal bag, you'll find that it'll range between 200 to 600D. That's from a low quality to a medium quality bag. And so with this bag being 1050D, this pretty much makes it very strong compared to other nylon bags, pretty much the strongest that you can get. And it pretty much puts it on par with leather, except it is both cheaper and a lighter weight. And for those of you who have had a bit of experience with bags before, I bet some of you are thinking right now, but what good is a strong material bag if the zip just goes? Because pretty much for any bag that gets broken, the zipper is pretty much in 9 out of 10 cases the first thing to go. Well, fortunately 511 have thought of this as well. They approached YKK, which is the world's biggest zip manufacturer who are based in Japan. And they have a whole wide range of options to choose from. And they pretty much have gone with one of the most expensive options for a zip that you can pick from. And so the zip is advertised as self-repairing, and to be honest, I do not know how that works. But a couple of things that I can vouch for though is that for my Rush 24, I've never once broken the zip or even had it go off the tracks. And you can also see that they put little protective fleece barriers over the zip as well to reduce the amount of moisture and dust and dirt that it actually gets into the zip track itself. And so whatever they're doing, it does seem to be working. And obviously you have these little pull tabs as well. And so from a military point of view, I guess it's designed so you can easily handle this with gloves. But it's actually kind of handy when you're in a bit of a dad situation as well, because quite often when you're carrying an infant, you actually kind of need both of your hands. And it's good that you can just open and close things just with your pinky finger. So it's actually very practical in that sense as well. But I'm probably getting a little bit overly nitty and gritty here as far as describing the details of the bag. The thing that probably attracted you to this bag was the fact that it's got so many compartments and pockets, which is great for an OCD over-organizing nut like myself. Please see Exhibit 8. And so with both the bags, they have a big morale Velcro strip on the front, and so you can show the rest of the world how cringy your sense of humor is. And now for the top part. I believe here the Rush 12 has it over the Rush 24, and that is because the Rush 12 just has this one little single compartment in this small little space, whereas the Rush 24 has pretty much overly divided it. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for separate compartments and separate pockets, but for such a small space, I think they've overdone it a little bit here. You've got 2 little pockets inside the pocket, and then another 2 over here, and when you're trying to grab something in a bit of a hurry, it's sometimes hard to remember what side you've put it on, whereas on the Rush 12, it's all just in the one big front pocket. But with that criticism of the Rush 24, one thing I think they just got absolutely right is the admin pouch, or the front little compartment. And so with this, the Rush 12 has done pretty well. I mean, it is a smaller size, so it doesn't have room for as many pockets. And it's very practical and you can fit quite a lot in there. But for this Rush 24, you can see there's like pockets, pen holders, little separate zips and side compartments, and even 2 slots here that you can even use as potential bottle holders. Now, moving on to the side, this is pretty much the only big feature that the Rush 24 has over the Rush 12, and that is that it has side little water bottle holders. And if we're being really honest, I don't actually really use these too often. You can probably put in about a 600 milliliter water bottle in here, but if you try to get something over a litre in here, you'll be struggling and be pretty tight. But it is perfect for, say, something the size of a deodorant can, or if you have small feet, maybe even a pair of thongs. Now let's move on to the camelback holders. And so both bags actually have a separate little compartment which is separate to everything else in the bag, and it's kind of meant to be designed for putting camelback bladders or things like that. For the Rush 24, I actually find it is a perfect size for holding my laptop. For the Rush 12, it's a little bit too small for that, and my laptop being the size of a 15-inch laptop. And so I haven't actually tested whether a 13-inch laptop can fit in here. If any of you know the answer to this question, please say so in the comments. And now I'll move around to the top here. Both of these bags here have a little sunglass holder, and they're both roughly the same size as one another. If you put sunglasses in there directly, it's a very easy fit. If you have a big glasses case, as in prescription glasses case, you may find it might be a little bit tight in there. Yes, you can shove it in, but it's going to take a bit of don't argue. But with that being said, kind of just a handy quick pocket too. So if you're not using it for your sunglasses, you can just throw your wallet and keys in there if you don't want them filling your pockets. And now we'll move on to the main section of the bag, but before I do, I'll point out the only instance where I've actually managed to do a bit of damage to this Rush 24 bag. And that is that I put it into a washing machine, and then the top of this bag got caught in the sort of the end of the washing machine, and I basically just rubbed against this thing for an hour, and it sort of created a little bit of a rip. And I had to call in a favour to a family friend basically to re-stitch it up. And so that mistake kind of was my fault, and I'm amazed that the bag did hold up as well as it did. And as far as how to officially properly wash these bags, according to the 511 website, the best thing to do is to use a soft brush and water and just wipe it off. But if you do actually want to put it into a washing machine, they recommend to put it inside of a washing bag to avoid this very scenario that I went through. Now with that, let's talk about the main section here. And so both bags have 2 little front zip pockets here that you can actually see inside of what's here. The Rush 12 actually has a little bottom one that's a little bit hidden as well. Also, the Rush 12 has 2 little pockets on the back side too, whereas the Rush 12 only has 1. And this can fit a 15-inch laptop, but it is very snug. However, if you had a 13-inch laptop, it'd fit very comfortably in here. Whereas the Rush 24, you can very easily and comfortably fit in a 15-inch laptop. I'll now talk about how suitable these bags are as a commercial airline carry-on bag. So if you're considering using this as a bag that you regularly take onto as a carry-on bag for your flights, I'll note that most airlines only allow you to take 7 kilograms onto the plane with you. And so the Rush 24 weighs 1.74 kilograms, and the Rush 12 weighs 1.42 kilograms. So there's actually only a 30 grams difference between the two. And so with both of these bags, you basically have an allowance of 5 kilograms of your own stuff to be able to fit into these bags until you cross over that 7 kilogram threshold. And also, if you're taking your laptop as well, just bear in mind that the laptop will take 2 of those available 5 kilograms, leaving you 3 kilograms in both these cases. And so with only being allowed 3 kilograms, the Rush 12 might actually be a better choice. Although with that being said, you can still get the Rush 24, except you'll be paying a bit more money for it, and you can just choose not to fully pack it every time you go into an aircraft. And so yeah, if you're a regular flyer, I'd say get the Rush 12. If you more need an overnight bag and you occasionally need to fly and you need to take a bag with you, well then yeah, still the Rush 24 will be easily suitable. So if you are considering a 511 bag, chances are that you probably already know what this threaded system is all about. But in case you don't, it's basically to allow you to attach things to the bag on the outside, and it's a bit of a system that allows you to do it in a way that's pretty sturdy and pretty strong. And so to explain what I'm talking about here, say you want to put on some kind of external accessory. In this particular case, I have a drop pouch, or otherwise known as a dump pouch, and basically what this can do is it can open up and then you can put things in there. And so why I attach this to my dad bag? Well, this is kind of ideal for when my daughter vomits on some clothes, or it's on something that I don't necessarily want to throw away, but it's something that I want to keep separate from the rest of the contents of the bag. And so I can just put it in here, and then with this pouch being open, As soon as I get home, I'll see that the pouch is open, and that's a reminder for myself to put whatever's in here into the washing machine. Now, I know you can just put a plastic bag inside of the bag and it has the same effect, but the issue here though is that one, what if the plastic bag busts and then it leaks all over the rest of the bag? And two, is that when it's in the bag, you may not touch that bag as soon as you get home, and then you won't discover it until 2 or 3 days later, and it's going to be much harder to clean whatever's been made dirty a few days later. And with these accessories, all these random pouches that you can put into this tier system, it's a ridiculously wide variety for attachments that you can throw on there. I mean, you can go from first aid kits to tourniquet kits to radio holders. Just go to any website, and it doesn't even have to be 511's website, just go to any website and you'll just be amazed at the amount of accessories that people have built that can basically attach to this tier system. And so with all of that, I'm really hoping that this video has answered your question on whether you should get the Rush 12 bag, the Rush 24 bag, or if you're trying to decide between the two bags. And if you have any extra information that you think that I've left out of this video, please let everybody else know in the comments as well.